What's up, guys? Rick here with your preview for this week's Truist Championship, a signature event at a brand new golf course. So we will go through all of that. But quickly, I've got a couple of big announcements, and these are things you've never heard me say before. This week, I'm going to make my debut on PGA Tour Live. I'm going to fly down to Ponte Vedra on Wednesday, and starting on Thursday and every day of the tournament, I'm going to be on the ESPN bet feed that will run for 2 hours a day, covering the Truist Championship. It's exciting. It's mostly thanks to you people who care and watch this and tune in and have built this community. I'm looking to be a great advocate down there, right? I want to show that voices in our space are not necessarily, hey, here's a 5-unit whale play, put your bankroll on it, right? No. This is data-driven analysis and research and being able to analyze the event in real time. So I'm really looking forward to getting down there and talking about it. I want to blow this thing up, right? Like, I want this to be the most watched bet stream they've ever had. I want people tweeting at me and tagging ESPN Bet and PGA Tour Live and Golf Bet in photos and tweets and all that stuff, right? So, like, if you can tune in and just leave it on all day, that'd be great. If you can interact with it, that'd be awesome as well. It's on ESPN Plus. So it's in the ESPN app. It'll be one of the feeds on there. On Thursday and Friday, it runs 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern time. No, I'm sorry. On Thursday and Friday, it is 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern time. On Saturday and Sunday, it is 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Eastern time on Saturday and Sunday. Okay. So it's going to be awesome. I'm excited. Hopefully this is more great things to come. And then it's a trip for me, right? It's straight from Ponte Vedra right into Charlotte for the PGA Championship. So I will be out at Quail very early in the week next week. This would be a really good time to subscribe to the YouTube channel or the newsletter, or like all that stuff that I try not to ask you to do too much. Also, our listener league for this week is rocking and rolling. So here it is. $1,900 for first, $1,500 for second, $1,100 for third. I love that payout structure. $20 entry over at Splash Sports. Already, what is that? 1/6 full, something like that. $20 to enter, fully guaranteed. Splash Sports crushes it. You can see they've been making updates to the website. They're killing it. They're absolutely killing it. I love what they're doing, and they've been a really good partner. So fill that up. The link is in the description. It's available in like 40 or more states and all of Canada except for Ontario. No, it's either Ontario or Quebec. I can't remember, but most of Canada as well. All right, let's talk about this golf course. Let's talk about this event. So the Truist Championship. This used to be the Wells Fargo Championship. This would normally be played at Quail Hollow, and I think moving forward, that's the plan, to play it at Quail Hollow. However, Quail, of course, hosting the PGA Championship for this year. So what they do in those years is they move it to some other place for a year. Remember, they did this, 2017? Trinity Forest they moved it to, right? Well, this is now going to Philly Cricket. We have not seen this course in a very long time. It's been around forever. It's like one of the oldest country clubs in the United States. They did a redesign in 2012, I think, in the last decade or so. Might have been more recent. Might have been 2022. And you can see this is an old school design. I'm showing you the satellite imagery if you're watching on YouTube right now. It's an old school design. It is a Tillinghast design. So what that means is you're getting a ton of bunkering. You see that as well. Generally deep bunkers. First off, let me just zoom out. They have 2 courses here. We're going to play the Wissahickon Course. What do you notice, right? We're all going through this blind together for the first time. What do you notice here? Well, first off, it is very aesthetically pleasing. These hard lines, these beautiful. It looks mint, the fairway, and then straight into what seems to be the only cut of rough. I like that. The other thing is gentle dog legs, where there are fairway bunkers almost always on the inside portion of the dog leg, right? You're seeing it here, you're seeing it here, you're seeing it here, you're seeing it here. I mean, like literally every hole that I can point out, there's fairway bunkers on the inside of the dog leg. Some of them also have fairway bunkers on the outside of the dog leg. That is a very simple, very cool. I love that design feature because when guys try to cut dog legs, if they wipe one or miss on the inside of the dog leg trying to be too aggressive, they are penalized the most, right? So I like that. It really forces guys to hit committed shots off the tee. When you look at the misses, yes, the fairway bunkers are going to be a problem. That's going to be a penalty. The rough, TBD. We got some players, we got some caddies, we got some friends out there. We'll see over the course of the week how penal that rough is going to be. But there's not a lot of, big misses look okay here, right? What's the difference between missing by 5 yards and missing by 15? Not much, mostly just more rough that seems to be the same length. I'll show you a couple of examples of this. And actually, they're going to start on number 8. They've changed the routing, so they're actually going to start here, I believe. So this is a shorter par 4. And by the way, this is a pretty short course in general. It's not long. It is not going to require a ton of distance. So here, you've got these fairway bunkers that cross. They don't cross, but they're on both sides at 299 to the middle of the bunkers. Well, if you can carry 310, you are through that trouble, and that is not a problem. The other thing to consider is if you can do that, you're getting to a fairway that is 41 yards wide, which is pretty wide. If you lay it back to like that 290 mark, you're going to a 35-yard wide fairway, which again is like just not narrow enough, right? So you see a lot of 35-yard wide fairways. I would love it if they were like 28 yards wide, but they're 35 yards wide. So you are not getting a ton of narrowness in which you have to squeeze. Again, a similar feature here, a wider landing zone at about 290 if you want to throttle it back a little bit. This is number 9, which I think they're going to play as number 2. 41 yards wide. If you want to take on the bunker and try to carry the whole thing, again, it's like 315. And then again, you are going to a smaller landing area, this time down to 32 yards wide. But again, that's just not, it's not narrow enough, because really what you have is, this entire area here. I mean, obviously trees are overhanging, but you have basically this square right here. If you can fly it 310-ish. Now, remember, all of these measurements are from the back edge of the back tee. So that you assume if these tees are moved up at all, you're not going from the back portion of the tee boxes. And then, of course, you have wind to consider. So we don't know what these guys will be able to carry in the moment. Here's the first par 3 they're going to encounter. You're going to see a lot of greenside bunkering. I mean, there's green. Look at these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 around this other par 3 over here. I mean, the par 3s are heavily protected with greenside bunkers. But here's the problem here. This is about 172 yards. You start throwing a PGA Tour Pros dispersion on this, playing to the middle of the green, and they are just kind of rarely missing the green. Now you move the pin on us, obviously, to a corner, and these guys will get aggressive and guys will miss and they'll be in trouble, but it's not a particularly dangerous shot. So what I think is going to end up, and I'll take you through a couple more. Here's a par 5. I'm sorry, this is a par 4. Again, if you can carry it like 310, you're eliminating a lot of trouble almost on every single hole. And that'll be day dependent, weather dependent, all that stuff. But again, look, the last bunker gets cleared at like 310 yards on almost every single hole. This one's 290. This one's 285. This one is a par 3. This one is okay. This one's a little bit longer. But you've got some room there at 300. You'd have to carry like 330 to carry all the bunkering. But I think if there's 290 again. So I think these guys that can carry it long are going to eliminate a lot of the trouble. I'm also not quite sure the rough is going to be penal enough to dissuade them from trying to do so. So I think distance is going to be a priority. I think that when we learn over the course of the week how firm this thing could play, I'll be interested, right? Are these green complexes, for lack of a better term, more complex then they appear in a 2D satellite imagery. That would be interesting, right? Are these greens, and I guess I could probably find this online, are these greens effectively smaller? Are they running away on the edges? Like stuff like that we'll learn in the next day or two, I think could change this, but I think distance is going to be important. I think approach play is going to be important. I think maybe some scrambling or sand safe, something like that could be pretty important. But I think these guys are going to play well. I think they're going to play well. Northeast Bentgrass Golf Course, old school. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's go to the cheat sheet here and see what we can find. Okay, from here on out, this is my website, RickRunGood.com. Giant database and visualizations for all types of golf, really. I mean, it's so much more than fantasy golf and golf betting. It's now like a lot more than that. So just a giant database. Check it out. 4 golfers over $10,000 here. Rory McIlroy, Collin Morikawa, Xander Schauffele, Justin Thomas, and boy, how do we distinguish between these 4? They're all very, very good, obviously. Rory McIlroy, I believe, because of the way that he drives it, will have a significant advantage here, right? We just looked at the satellite imagery. He's one of the longer hitters. He is going to be able to eliminate a lot of the trouble off the tee on the majority of these holes. That is already a leg up. He has been the best player in 2025 by far. It is not particularly close. He's playing with a newfound freedom. He's going to go into the PGA Championship at Quail Hollow. Like, this is such a good run. What a great run for Rory McIlroy. Golf courses that are fitting his game, wins, freedom, all that fun stuff. Rory's going to be amazing. Collin Morikawa is interesting. He's played, by his own standards, very good, not great golf. I've shown this a million times, on the Holy Grail. Like, he is basically the best player in the world since 2024 who has not won a golf tournament, and it's not really close anymore. He's been close a handful of times. He had the runner-up at the Century, he had the runner-up at Bay Hill, he had the top 10 finish at the Players Championship. He is now with Joe Griner as his new caddy. I think, unfortunately, he is right in that spot of bother on his driving distance. That like 290 carry is going to be right on the edge of problematic. It's not a long golf course. I'm not worried about that. I am worried that he has to hit basically more perfect drives than everyone else, or at least than some of these guys who hit it farther, because those fairway bunkers for him are in play. They are very much in play for him. I don't like the change to Joe Griner, but I like guys when they get this new voice, right? They get the new voice on the bag. We saw Joe Griner win with Justin Thomas at the RBC Heritage. I like that. I don't like the way that Collin has putted. I know the caddy can't putt for you, right? So they missed the cut at the Zurich Classic, him and Kurt Kitayama. Collin Morikawa has lost strokes putting in 4 straight. He has lost strokes around the green in 2 straight, and a lot of them. I think the best case scenario is he's a 0 off the tee this week. He is very good on approach, and he's like even in the short game categories. That is probably not enough to win this golf tournament. He's probably going to be in the mix. He's probably going to be inside the top 10. I worry that he is right on the edge of driving distance. If he can carry those bunkers, if he can, it would be a lot better situation for him. But I think that is TBD. Xander Schauffele, I think, is maybe the most not mispriced, underappreciated golfer here. Why is Collin Morikawa more expensive than Xander Schauffele? Xander Schauffele, what is the argument against Xander Schauffele? That he was hurt to start 2025? Okay, well, he's not anymore. And he finished 8th at the Masters. He finished T18 at Harbour Town, where he didn't even play particularly well. He's got 3 straight top 18 finishes. He's picked up 16, 17, 18 strokes, something like that, from tee to green over his last 12 rounds. That's with losing strokes off the tee in 2 of those weeks. He's a very, very good second shot player. He is long enough. He is well-rounded. He is a great putter. He is the second best player in this field behind Rory McIlroy since the start of 2024. That's a long time. Even if you look at just 2025, let's see where he ranks just 2025. He is right. Where are you, Xander? Here. Okay, well, I guess it hasn't been that good. He's gaining zero point 0.2 strokes over 7 starts. Does that font look different? Did I change the font or am I just zoomed in differently? I like the way that looks. Yeah, I mean, he gets beat up for the Players' Championship, the -10 that he lost there, but last 3 have been a lot better. Only 7 starts in 2025. It's the only argument against him. And then Justin Thomas, wins at Harbor Town, losing strokes off the tee, which is really interesting. He is longer than Colin Morikawa, barely. He's not incredibly long. It's like 298, 299 off the tee, measured wise. Again, I'm splitting hairs here. Probably like JT a little bit more than I like Colin Morikawa. He's a little bit cheaper. All these guys are great options, but some concerns around Colin, some concerns around JT. Not big concerns, just things to consider. The team over at DraftKings is cooking up some great contests for this week, so let's talk about DFS value, a good buy and a bad buy. Let's start on the good side of things. I look at Russell Henley, who's sitting there at just $9,400, and this is a golf course at Philly Cricket that does not demand distance off the tee, which is great for Russell. That's not his strong suit. He's going to play positional golf, and then he's going to turn into one of the better second shot players that we have on the PGA Tour. Not only did he finish 6th at the Cognizant, not only did he finish T8 at RBC Heritage, but the win at API, all of that within his last 5 starts. It doesn't even include the 5th place finish at Pebble Beach. I mean, think about that. Harbor Town at top 10, Pebble Beach at top 10. He won a signature event. At least 2 of those are kind of more positional golf courses. So I like the way that Russell Henley sets up for this. And then Corey Connors, similar to Russell Henley in some senses, but at $8,800, I find it difficult to get him into some of my lineups here. I'm not entirely sure where he separates himself from the rest of the field. Sure, he will do it on the second shot. I think, unfortunately, these fairways are just a little bit too wide. The rough might not be penal enough. I would like him on a longer, more narrow golf course where he can separate both on the tee and on the second shot. I think he's going to have trouble separating himself and gaining strokes to the field in both of those areas. If you want to get involved, download the DFS app from DraftKings and enter promo code RickDFS to play free for your share of millions with your first deposit. That's RickDFS for new DraftKings customers. Just download the daily fantasy app. Sponsored by DraftKings. The 9K range is here. So only 6 golfers: Ludwig, Cantlay, Henley, Fleetwood, Spieth, Hovland. It's a signature event. They're all pretty good. Ludwig will be good. Similar to, I was going to lump Ludwig and Corey Connors together. I'll save that. Ludwig, I would like him on a tighter, longer golf course. This is not very tight and not very long. He'll be fine because he's a great player and he can figure it out in a lot of different ways. But he's lost strokes putting in 3 out of 4. The only place that he gained during that stretch was the Masters, was at Augusta National. This is, every golf course in the world is very good for Ludwig. I think this skews kind of on the bad side for him, but he'll still be generally fine. Patrick Cantlay loves a good Northeast bentgrass golf course. He has been ridiculously good from tee to green. If you look at everybody in this field over the last 36 rounds, sort them by strokes gained tee to green, I'm assuming Patrick Cantlay is going to show up pretty highly here. Yeah, so 0.84 strokes per round. That's actually not even as high as I thought it would be. Probably because, he did have the Masters loss in there. Because his around the green play has been bad too. If you do ball striking, I bet you it gets even better than that. I'm cherry picking a bit here, but you got to do what you got to do sometimes. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. 4th in ball striking. One of only 6 golfers who have gained a stroke per round in the ball striking categories over their last 36. The putter's a problem. Maybe getting on some pure classic bent grass greens goes a long way for Patrick Cantlay. Somewhat optimistic there. I hate to say it, but over the last 36 rounds, Jordan Spieth is like the 6th best player in this field. He is going to be able to spray it off the tee. We talked about that, right? He is probably longer than you think he is. And what he's done since returning from the surgery is really, really good. He has 5 straight top 28 finishes, 4 straight top 18 finishes, and the pieces are starting to come together. The putter is white hot. The driver, that has been great since last year. We're starting to see him build on this. So pretty bullish on Jordan Spieth. And then if you want to get in on Victor, I don't mind it, right? He is always this dark horse. You have no clue what he's going to do or what the state of his game is. And don't listen to him because he'll tell you he's like a 2 out of 10. His last 3, let's just look at the last 3. He wins at Valspar, finishes 21st at the Masters, and finishes T13 at Harbour Town. This is a good golf course for him, right? He is going to be able to cut off a little bit of the dog legs. He's going to be able to use the driver as a weapon. He's going to hit some wedges into these greens, which should be okay. Bent grass is his best surface. I think that this is probably a decent spot for him. A very highly volatile golfer, as we've seen, but I think that's generally ranks as one of the on satellite imagery, one of the better spots for him. The 8K range has a couple of really interesting options here. I think that the most interesting is Daniel Berger, right? He's $8,600. He is pretty scorching right now. Has missed 1 cut since the American Express. That was at Torrey. Has a bunch of top 30 finishes, a bunch of top 10 finishes, the well-rounded nature. I talk about that all the time. Everybody in this field over the last 36 rounds, raw strokes gained. Rory is in a class of his own, 2.27. Justin Thomas is next, 1.47. So he's nearly a full stroke worse than Rory. That's how good Rory has been. Right behind JT is Daniel Berger. Daniel Berger has been better than Colin Morikawa over the last 36. Let's go to the Holy Grail and look at everybody. So this is everybody since the start of 2025. Rory, JT, Morikawa, Russell Henley, Daniel Berger. And actually, Daniel Berger and Russell Henley are the exact same 1.32 strokes gained per round, and Daniel Berger has played 2 more events. So Daniel Berger has been that good. And look at how much green is in this profile. It's just everywhere, right? It's just throughout the whole bag. Consistently, rarely struggles, has massive tee to green upside. He picked up 11.5 strokes in Phoenix, picked up 8.7 at Harbour Town. The truth of the matter is, we have no idea how this golf course is going to play, right? We're all going to make a lot of educated guesses, and we're going to take things that we hear from the grounds, and we're going to... The truth of the matter is, there is no data on this, and we have no idea how this golf course is going to play. Guys like Tommy Fleetwood, Xander Schauffele, Daniel Berger, who are so good in every area, who rarely make bogeys, who are going to give themselves a lot of opportunities, that covers our bases, in my opinion, right? So I not only like those guys in general, but like on a golf course where we have no idea. That's the truth. The truth is we have no idea. Sepp Straka, this is like the most underrated year so far because he wins early and then Rory starts going on his run. Scotty's starting to go on his run. Collins switching like all that stuff, right? Sepp won and never stopped playing well. Struggling with the putter over his last 3, but he carries Bryce Garnett to a T12 finish at the Zurich Classic, which you assume they probably putted pretty well. His tee to green numbers have been insane. If you saw what I was doing when I was clicking through like the power rankings or who's been the best in this field since the start of 2025, like Sepp Straka's name is going to show up on both of those. When I did the ball striking numbers over the last 36, Sepp Straka was 3rd. He was in between Colin Morikawa and Patrick Cantlay. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Love the way, doesn't hit it very far. Very, very accurate though. So even if he can't carry those bunkers, if he can keep it in that 35-yard wide region, he's going to be just fine. Not a long golf course. We are so close. I think we are so close to getting Sung Jae Im back. The results are coming back. The driver's been very good forever. Since Memphis, he's gained strokes off the tee in every single event. That was, 9 months ago. Around the green's great. Putter's coming back. The approach play is still bad, but not dismal like it was. We are really, really close to getting Sung Jae back. If you want to be early on him, I don't mind it. I'm going to try one more week and keep him on the radar for the PGA Championship. The scenario would probably be Sung Jae finishes like T2 this week, but the pricing for the PGA Championship comes out on Friday or Saturday or something, and that's not factored in, and we get like a pretty cheap Sung Jae would be the way that I'm putting this into the universe. There's a lot of really good stuff in the 7K range. As you can imagine, it's a signature event. I'll try to go a little bit quickly here. I wanted to see what Sam Burns was up to because he had that really strong Sunday where he flies up the leaderboard at the Byron Nelson, has his best round of the week, and ends up finishing T5. I wanted to see if this was a mirage or if this is something that he's building on. Second shots were really good on Sunday. Putted really well all week long. That's not a surprise. He's gained strokes putting every event dating back to Riviera. Despite the T5, he still lost strokes on approach last week. And despite having a really good Sunday, he still lost strokes on approach last week. So despite having back-to-back top 13 finishes, they to me look fool's goldy. Yeah, I don't think we're quite ready on Sam Burns yet. This is still problematic. Andrew Novak goes third, second, first in his last three. Well, what else can he do? Can he go to zero? Can he finish 0th this week? No, probably not. We don't have the numbers from the Zurich Classic. Just assume him and Ben Griffin lit it up, right? But we'll go to Harbortown. We'll go to the Texas Open here. Gain strokes across the board in both of those. You know that's a really good metric. No reason to think this is going to stop anytime soon. Do I think he's going to win? No. Do I think he has top 12 upside here? Absolutely, I do. I wanted to see what Denny McCarthy's been up to, and I think I can pass on that pretty quickly. Struggling on approach, struggling around the green. Yeah, okay. Brian Harman, believe it or not, I think is a play this week. And I am not a big Brian Harman guy, but this is what I see. It is a short golf course where accuracy will be rewarded more. Well, in some senses, right? I'm sorry. Accuracy might not be rewarded more, but his lack of distance will not be a detriment. He has picked up 7.5 strokes from tee to green 3 times in his last 6 starts. It's a lot. And the other 3 are all losses. What he gives you is a really high upside tee to green game. And when he switched to that putter at the Texas Open, he hasn't lost strokes since. That like monster thing that somebody just handed him, some rep just handed him, and he put it in the bag. So this is probably one of the better spots for him, and he's playing pretty good golf, high upside golf. I want to see Benny On because Benny On can carry a lot of the trouble here, right? Struggled off the tee at Craig Ranch. A lot of that came on Sunday. I don't know what he did on Sunday. Lose a couple golf balls. He lost 2 strokes off the tee there. The rest of his game, not as good as I thought, but he is going to be a guy who can carry a lot of those bunkers. Michael Kim has probably played a ton. Yeah, okay. Michael Kim, 13 starts in 2025. He's getting a stroke per round, 1.01. It is between Jordan Spieth and Keith Mitchell. It hasn't been as good lately, but I still love what I see on approach. He has picked up strokes on approach in every event dating back to Phoenix. The putter has been positive in basically every week except for Harbortown. I think we run him back out there. I want to see what Rasmus Højgaard has been up to. He played his way into this event. Okay. I was hoping to see something better. So just to recap, out on Burns, in on Novak, out on McCarthy, in on Harman, mostly in on, in on Kim, out on Rasmus, I think is the way that those names that we went through worked themselves out. I'm dying to see what the model has to say, but we're going to go to the 6K range here first. And I think there's a couple of interesting names. If this is not a Lucas Glover golf course, I'm not sure what is, right? Just get it into the fairway and rip it pins and hope you catch him on a hot putting week. Played well at the Valspar, played well at the Players Championship, missed the cut at the Masters, which we knew was going to happen, and then lost like 5.8 strokes at Harbortown. The good news is that's in his range. right? He did that at API, and the very next week he bounced back and gained 3 strokes. He had a 7-stroke difference in putting over the course of those 2 starts. He is not going to be able to carry those bunkers. He's going to have to play to those thicker areas, which is just fine. He's not. It's just a different way to get there. The X factor in the 7K range is Sahith. Talked about that. We've talked about this the last couple weeks. Guys, right after they play the Zurich Classic, sometimes get a bump. Guys who have been struggling get a bump. We saw it with Takumi Kanaya, right? Pat myself on the back for a random guy to finish whatever he finished last week, T12, T8, whatever it was. Just like really struggling, gets to play with a good friend, gets to play in a different format, and then all of a sudden things go well. Sahith, we don't have the strokes gained numbers from there, but like he chipped in a handful of times. Every time they cut to Sahith at the Zurich, he was rolling in a long putt. Gets to see a couple go in, now gets to play his own ball again, with not a lot of trouble off the tee, excuse me. This would be a try to be early spot on Sahith at $6,900, which is probably the cheapest he's been. Oh boy. Sahith. This is the cheapest he has been. I'm still scrolling. Can't be ever. Oh my God. Okay. Well, that doesn't even really count. The Tour Championship in 2022, but that's a staggered start, so we can't even count that. Here we go. Since the 2022 Memorial, this is the cheapest he's been. He was 6,500 that week. He finished T5. Wow. Yeah. Historically low. This is that's a pretty good buy spot. Alex Noren is back. 6,200, nearly minimum priced. He has not played since October. He had a bad injury, like a torn something. Now I got to look it up. Give me 1 second. Yeah, a quote, hamstring and glute tear. Oh, it sounds horrible. Hasn't played since October. Obviously, I have no idea what the state of his game is. What I know is when he last played, he was playing great golf. The other thing I know about Alex Noren is he is a grinder. He works very hard. I cannot imagine that he has not gotten the reps in to be in playing shape. I don't expect a lot out of him, but I don't need a lot out of him. He's $6,200. It's a no-cut event, right? Like, what are we, it's not the end of the world. Let's see what the model has to say. I'm dying to run a model. Can you tell? All right. So we've got a signature event on a golf course that we know nothing about. Perfect. Let's do last 36 rounds, 20 on strokes gained total. We are going to do driving distance for 15. We are going to do strokes gained approach last 36 for 20. Yeah, big boy. We are going to do 10 on sand saves and 5 on scrambling. We are going to do 10 on bent grass putting and then 10 on bonus putting. And then we are going to do our final 10 on, I was going to say short golf courses. I don't know if this is considered short. It's pretty short. Let's just do it. Let's just do 10 on short and see what happens. My number 1 golfer is Rory McIlroy. No surprise. Justin Thomas is number 2. Very good on short golf courses, which is what we knew about Harbor Town too, right? He's first in this field in short golf courses. JT is 2. Patrick Cantlay is 3. Long enough. Loves bent. Approach play recently has been good. Bonus putting's been good. Short golf courses is very good. God, Patrick Cantlay's going to win this golf tournament, isn't he? Shane Lowry is 8,500. He is 4th. Xander is 5th. Ben Griffin, hello, 6th. Ludwig is 7th. Jordan Spieth is 8th. Tommy Fleetwood is 9th. Denny McCarthy is 10th. Oh boy. Denny loses on driving distance and is, the putting stats really help him. The bonus putting, the short golf courses. He's not playing as well recently. Very interesting. What else do we have here? Victor's 13. Colin is 16. Okay. Well, listen, a lot more to come this week. Obviously, the live chat on Wednesday will be essential. Then I will hit the road and head to Ponte Vedra. Then I will hit the road and head to Charlotte. Stoked. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. I'm going to talk to you guys soon. Best of luck this week. Goodbye.